Brother Myron, what's up?
What up, bro?
All right. Tim, TC Collins here with the TC Lifestyle Fit Podcast.
Yeah.
We have Mr. Myron Pierce here. He's the owner or founder of Own the Pond.
Yeah.
One of my dearest friends. He's an inspiration to me. He's on Goat Mountain in entrepreneurship and personal development. So I'm grateful to be in the same room with this man today. So Myron, can you give us some perspective on your company, Own the Pond? How did it get started? Where did the vision come from?
So in communities like ours, inner cities, there are a couple of things that are, couple undertones that are happening. So first one that I noticed that there are like systems and structures that have been designed to regurgitate and recycle generations of poverty. Right now, out of that comes an adopted mindset.
It's a mindset,
right? Of dependency on things like welfare and oftentimes cycles of poverty end up leading to crime, and those are all symptoms of hopelessness. Right?
That's why you call yourself the hope dealer.
Yeah,
man, that's the greatest superpower.
The greatest superpower is hope.
Expectation. I learned that from Dr. Myron Golden. I love watching him.
I love him.
He's incredible.
Well, and that's why ownership is key. Ownership and hope go together.
Ownership and hope.
You got to put those two in the same equation. So when you look at systems and structures that create mindsets that really set people back and lead them to hopelessness, now all of a sudden I understand why our company exists to start and scale inner city businesses, because we've oftentimes lived by this mantra of give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach him how to fish, feed him for a life. And that's an incomplete solution in places like North Omaha and other inner cities. Here's why it's incomplete. Give a man a fish suggests that we always will have to rely on somebody outside of us to take care of us.
On another person.
Yeah, that's called
or other groups of people.
That's called slavery. Anytime that I have to exclusively rely on any system for my self-actualization, I'm now in an enabled relationship where I'm not reciprocating. I'm actually just a recipient. You feel me?
Yeah. Yes.
And that's the give a man a fish model. And then to build on that, which I'm not saying that's bad. There are places, pantries, things like that people fall on hard times. We're part of community. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's supposed to happen. But then you have to teach them how to fish. And that's a little bit, it's a higher level than relief, because that leads to betterment, right? Where people can go and get a job, get an education, things like that.
So there's levels. So you're saying give them fish is one level.
It could
then
be a
the
level.
Second one is teach them how to fish.
Yeah.
Now what you're articulating is that there's a level higher than that.
Yeah, there's a meta level. There's a higher level, and that higher level deals with potential, self-actualization, solving our own problems. And that level is train them how to own the pond. It's the idea of ownership, because if you do, you change their family tree, not just their lifetime. We have to help people think, not just their life. We have to help people think. That's what I love about you, bro, is you don't just think about yourself. And so the idea of own the pond is if we can train people to think through the lens of ownership and entrepreneurship, then we can help them build legacies and even start to perpetuate the Chinese model of thinking dynasty. Imagine if we started to think dynasty with how we build wealth and how we start companies, right? And so at the end of the day, because of all that, we said, let's start an inner city entrepreneurial development company that exists to help inner city entrepreneurs start and scale companies. And so here we are years later, man, we're in 3 different cities. We're working on the 4th city. My macro goal is to have what I call ponds, right, in every inner city. So our goal is 500 inner cities, right? in America, man.
Wow. I feel it, man.
Yeah.
I feel the energy.
Yeah.
Myron ponds all over the world.
Ponds all over the world.
Universe.
Yeah.
Now, is it better to be a small fish in a big pond or a big fish in a small pond?
I have never been asked that question, but I've heard that before. So if you're a small fish in a big pond, you have the opportunity to grow.
You have opportunity to get bigger.
There's opportunity. If you're a big fish in a small pond, there's no opportunity. You've outgrown that pond. So if you're somewhere where you've outgrown, then the chances are is that you're atrophying. There's atrophy in your life.
So if you're a big fish in a small pond, you stop growing. That means you need to get picked up and placed into an environment that will actually help you grow and expand.
Exactly.
How do you transition from being a big fish in a small pond to, being a small fish into a bigger pond that has more opportunities for you to succeed with your gifts?
I love this. One of the keys to first of all, we have to practice self-awareness.
Self-awareness. I think even like paying attention to what we say.
Yeah.
How we communicate to ourselves. There's two communications, the internal communication and the external communication. Right. You see, there's a challenge with a lot of young people in just here in North Omaha. Yeah. If I have an impoverished perspective towards myself, there's no way I'm going to value at all another human being
at all.
So how do we start there with more of a constructive perspective towards ourselves, which will ultimately give us the energy and tools to help other people?
So let's build the construct first. Yep. Okay. Number one, a lot of times we want to operate in behavioral management. We assume that if I just change my actions, that I've changed my life.
Don't start with behavior.
No, you can't.
It's impossible.
And you know this as a trainer. It's like you can get people to do a program, a 6-week program or something like that. But if we don't go to that next level to look at the narrative, the story that we're telling ourselves, right? And so that's why meditation and reflection is important, because we can start looking at what story. So up here is like, what are my actions? Your actions are always based on the story you're telling yourself, because we're playing the star role in our story. You know what I'm saying? And then so if you can start to reflect and meditate on what story am I telling myself, right? And we always know what the story is based on our behavior. Our behavior is it's
just a reflection of what's happening inside of our what you call mind, internal representation,
and that's
identity.
And that's where it becomes helpful for us to look at our behaviors, because they tell us the story that we're writing, living,
calibrate on behavior, not on the person.
Yeah.
And I believe that wholeheartedly, because I work with young men in prison, youths. Sometimes they can produce a lot of challenges with how you work with them. Yeah. And I'm learning, even if they treat me poorly, or if they say something maybe that doesn't go along with how I truly feel about myself, I still need to give them compassion.
Because underneath the story. Yeah. So behavior, story. Yeah, right. Underneath the story, at the root level of what we're talking about, are two things. Yep. Is three. It's the assumptions we make, the values we the values we believe, right? The assumptions and the values. And then
assumptions and values. And
core beliefs.
And core beliefs, yeah.
Assumptions, values, and core beliefs. And, because I was in prison too. So it's like all our assumptions, our values, and our core beliefs are shaped out of the let me go a little lawyer, experiences. So when I walk away from,
well, yes, beliefs are interpretations of your experience, your life experience.
You see how beliefs up here and then experiences at the bottom.
They're generalizations of your life experiences.
Exactly. So all of a sudden now,
which are often misinterpreted.
So you have at the top beliefs. I'm sorry. You have at the top behavior, how we act. Then story. What we're telling ourselves. And then assumptions, core beliefs, and assumptions, core beliefs, and I'm sorry, I'm mixing what values. Right. And then up under those are experiences. And so we have to then look at our experiences and say, okay, what experiences have I had? Because it's those experiences that we walk away from. I was in a car accident, right, when I was 16, right? So my mom's driving and she come out into the intersection and the car smacked me on my side.
Wow.
Right? Wow. So it impacted me. We all have experiences that impact us. You feel me? There was a police dog I heard about that had gotten in the line of duty, hurt in the line of duty. And this police dog, her back hind legs were she's paralyzed. So she would scoot everywhere. Well, what they didn't realize at the time was that she was pregnant. So she has the babies, and once they're able to walk, they start scooting. All based on her experience. There was nothing wrong with the dog's kids, right? And so when we work,
they're just mimicking behaviors that they saw, experiences from their mother,
from her behaviors.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, they don't even know why they're doing what they're doing. And it's like when we work with people, if you're working with somebody in training, you know, if you're working with kids in the youth center or prison, or if I'm working with people who want to start a company and entrepreneurship, it's like we have to get them from scooting. They're scooting because of their experiences.
Wow. Myron, where does your strength come from, brother? Because both of us have been in entrepreneurship for quite a few years. And to be in entrepreneurship, it requires, you need discipline, you need to have a work ethic, you need to have grit, you need to have focus, and you also need to have this aspect of when things aren't always going, resourcefulness, things aren't, because they're not always going to go your way. Actually, probably 95% of the time, you'll have a plan that you want to execute in your business or a product or a service, and it doesn't always go your way. And when that happens, you can't just give up and curl up into a ball and and stop. You have to find a way to keep going. What is your message to someone who gets started in entrepreneurship and they need some perspective on how to overcome those obstacles that they'll face initially?
Well, I think first of all, we have to define what entrepreneurship is.
Yeah.
Because we've made synonymous entrepreneurship with business. Those are two different things. When we use the word entrepreneur, we typically use it in a business management fashion. When we talk about like counting and bookkeeping, and all of that comes from the industrial era. Yeah. Most of the time, early on in the beginning of our country, everybody had their own ice houses and, whatever those things were, like ice cream parlors, whatever, right? And then at the height of the Industrial Revolution, they started needing more jobs. So people went from entrepreneur to employee. So the mindset shifted to rely on somebody else paying our paycheck, right? So now, all of a sudden, the idea of entrepreneurship has been denigrated to what the Industrial Revolution said, that these big box companies are the models for what it means to be business.
And I also believe there are some people who maybe entrepreneurship isn't for them. It doesn't necessarily mean you can't be successful and you can't make an impact on your community or on your calling, the gift that God has placed inside of you. So how do you
That's what I call
people,
an entrepreneur.
entrepreneur? Yeah.
So an entrepreneur
Yeah.
is different than an entrepreneur. Right. So that's why I say definition matters, because at the heart of what entrepreneurship is, entrepreneurship is about being useful. Has nothing to do with money.
Right.
Entrepreneurship is how do I add value at the intersection of my gifts, my passions, my strengths, and someone else's problem is an opportunity to be useful. I equate entrepreneurship with usefulness, right? Now, to scale usefulness, you need systems and structures, like accounting,
that makes sense. Yeah.
like bookkeeping, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, that's why for us on the pond, the idea of starting and scaling a company begins with asking ourselves the question: how can I be useful?
Wow. I love what Bishop T.D. Jakes said. He says that God, he only promotes you according to the capacity you have. Your basically your work capacity. It's just like with exercise, fitness, health. The reason why someone probably has buff biceps and pectoral muscles is because they put in the work. The reason why someone has a high VO2 max is because they put in the work. However, yet you need to start somewhere. How do we teach people how to build their capacity, whether it's in entrepreneurship or other areas of their life where they need to make a significant impact on the people they've been called to serve?
The only way one of the best ways to build capacity is through pressure.
Man, that's real.
So you going?
It is easy to run from that pressure too, because it doesn't feel good most of the time.
No, because then we have to make a decision. So we have to. Okay, so here's what I believe, man, and it's harder said than done. I believe that increasing capacity takes pressure, but I need the maturity to understand that it has purpose.
Yeah. Wow, maturity, which a big percentage of our young people, or just in general, run from maturity. And that's one of the most important aspects of your development or your growth, which is a human need. You need opportunities to grow and get better, and it does require you to have some level of maturity. So where do we gain those skills and that knowledge from? How is that
for me
in your life?
Yeah, for me personally, we've heard it said, like, if you said it earlier, but like, number one, we're a sum total of the friends we hang around. Number two,
pay attention to the people you hanging around with every day.
So like number two, if you want the reward, like, let me put it like this. If I want to be a multimillionaire, I can't hang around people who all they got in their pocket is $20. I grow at the level of my connection. That's why the greatest rabbi, greatest teacher, the greatest CEO, entrepreneur that ever lived, Jesus. He's the greatest entrepreneur that ever lived. He says, if you want to be great, serve. If you want to increase your capacity, do it through service.
I love that.
If you want to be great, that's capacity. Then start at somebody else's feet, usefulness. So if you want to increase your capacity, figure out how to be useful. And then surround yourselves around great CEOs and entrepreneurs like Jesus, who modeled increasing capacity. Another way to increase your capacity is not just through pressure, but it's through responsibility.
Pressure and responsibility,
So we say, okay, and responsibility takes faithfulness. So for example, when you first started your company, you had some entrepreneurial responsibilities. You have responsibility to your clients. You have responsibility to get your website up. You have a responsibility to do your podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have been growing your company, and the more faithful you have been in your mission, the more opportunity you have been given to take on more responsibility. You feel me? So show me somebody with a lot of responsibility, and I'll show you somebody with a lot of capacity.
Wow, that's good. increase your work capacity. That's the word of the day.
Responsibility does that.
Increase your work capacity through responsibility and being able to handle pressure.
Yeah.
So as men, you're a husband, you have family, kids, you have business. It's sometimes it gets to be heavy because as men, we're always fighting with who we used to be. Who we used to be is always fighting with who we want to become. And that is one of the most challenging battles to overcome by yourself. It's impossible. I'm learning it's impossible on your own strength. You got to have God. That's the only way.
I'm telling you, if I had to answer that and give you a third one to increase in capacity, it's through relationship. So my friend Josh, he's a triathlete. And he's
talking about Josh Dosler.
Josh Dosler. He's been for people who don't know. He's CEO of Abide Network, and we were sitting down one time, and he's like, "Yeah, I run to prepare for this triathlon. This is what I do." And I'm sitting here, and I'm like, "Dang, man, it'd be cool to do that one time." And so he's like, "Yeah, you got to start running." And so I started running 12 weeks ago. My first 3-mile run was 55 minutes. 55 minutes for a 3-mile run.
You grow, you have to, everyone needs to start with the fundamentals.
Right.
You start with the basics and gradually grow as your strength develops.
So now I'm at 20 miles a week. And I'm at 6 miles every other day at 54 minutes or so.
Wow, that's good. It's a testament to the hard work you've been consistently putting into building your running capacity.
My running capacity. Right. Yeah. But what like helped me was the relationship that I had with Josh. That he had no idea that he was holding me accountable to a high level by simply telling me this is how I live my life. And this is what I chase when it comes to getting healthy. And this is how I prepare for a triathlon.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that. Now, before we start to conclude our podcast today, I have a couple more questions for you, Myron. How do you define success? I love that shirt. It says heal first, hustle next.
Yeah.
That's part of my. Does that align with your success principles?
Well, yeah. So I went to treatment. Yeah. Because I had a mental health breakdown, diagnosed with bipolar, and we release different type of messages from a merch standpoint, and coming out of treatment, I said, you know what? I can't put my hustle above my healing.
That's true.
You cannot.
That's so good.
Hustle.
Don't put the hustle
before your healing.
You need to heal your body first.
You gotta heal first and hustle next.
Yes. Wow. Because what happens if you hustle before you heal? You break down.
Then you break down, and that's what happened to me.
Wow.
I had so much hustle, and I still do. It's who I am. I have so much hustle. I was unhealthy, and so now my mantra is like, heal first. Hustle gonna always be there, but I won't be if I don't take care of myself. And
how that's your life force, people. How you heal yourself is what are you reading? What are you listening to? For you, an outlet that has been successful in your life right now is running. One of the highest predictors of your life quality is VO2 max, which is your cardiorespiratory health. So work on your body, work on your relationships, feed your mind with positive information, positive affirmations, anything positive people, positive quotes. You want to make sure you experience the fullness of every opportunity to heal your mind, heal your body simultaneously. Even food, your gut health is important. What are you putting into your body? That's literally the second brain. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean meats, and your body actually thrives on good bacteria, and there's also an aspect of if you're eating fast food, sugary foods, sweets, your body's going to produce unhealthy bacteria that will hinder how it's able to operate. And the goal for all of us is to be high-level operators. So just doing those three things alone, feeding your mind, feeding your physical body, and exercising. If you don't know where to start, if you could do those three things, it will make a big difference in your life.
So like even, and I know we're about to close. But like what you just said is entrepreneurship. Because a lot of times we want to go and start companies to solve somebody else's problem. We ain't even solved our own problem.
Start at home.
Entrepreneurship is about solving problems.
Your physical house.
So if somebody want to own a business, if somebody somebody want to say, hey man, I want to start a business. Okay, did you make your bed this morning?
Just make your bed. Start with a victory. Start with a victory. I know my dad. My dad taught me that at an early age because he was in the military. Make your bed in the morning. Like there was no such thing as going to school or eating breakfast in the morning if you can't even get your bed made. Make sure you fold your clothes. I don't want to see any clothes hanging out of your dresser. So he taught us how to be neat and orderly. And I thank God for giving me a father, putting a father in my life who taught me those basic principles. Because as a man, you need to have those qualities to be successful. So, hey, Brother Myron, I wish we could go all day.
I know we gotta do this
all day with this conversation because you have so much wisdom and knowledge, and your energy is infectious, and I appreciate it. So, everyone, where can we find Myron Pierce?
So, man, listen, go to onthepondnetwork.com. I think everyone's an entrepreneur. Here's why. Because everyone can solve a problem.
Wow. If you can solve a problem, you're an entrepreneur.
It doesn't matter if you work at Walmart or you're a single mom or you have a company. Everybody's an entrepreneur because everybody's a problem solver. So if you need resources on how to solve problems, how to be useful, you go to onthepondnetwork.com.
Go to onthepondnetwork.com. We love you all. Make sure you like this video, share this video, subscribe to the TC Lifestyle Fit YouTube channel.
Go find him, tcomaha.com, baby.
Let's do it. We're going to flex those muscles, and every day, man, come on, just a little better. I appreciate it, Myron. You're a blessing, brother.
Thank you.
We're going to move forward one step at a time. And in the meantime, I'll see you all soon. Keep working on your body. Keep working on your mind. Get some fresh fruit and vegetables in your body and stay hydrated. You'll be good to go.
So this